Hey, welcome back to the mill. My name is Bill. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry, and it is Monday. We are trying to complete that 6-inch by 3-inch by 12-foot long Black Locust sill plate order. And I've got customer coming out. They should show up anytime. And when they show up, I'll pause you to look at the what we had left over from the other day. Just show you quick. If you didn't watch the video about the disaster of milling these black locust logs, I have a bunch of black locust left over from the other day. Some nice 2-inch pieces, some 5/4 pieces. They have rot in the middle. You can see the middle of that slab right there. That's consistent. So there's rot in the middle or ant holes in the middle. But there's beautiful wood out at the ends as we were testing bands on these. If you look at the finish on these, it's absolutely phenomenal. Some beautiful wood down here and down the other end on these slabs. So my woodworking customer was looking for 300 board feet of black locust. Is coming out to check those out to see if he wants them. And we have got really the biggest, straightest black locust log that I have in the yard on the mill. It's a very good size log. This end down here is completely solid. You can see right there. It does have some checks in it, but it's nice and solid. And somewhere around, I'm not sure, somewhere around 18 inches by 18 inches. This end down here, I had to cut it off at like 12/8, give myself a good chance. It had a rot hole in the end of it, plus a whole shit pile of metal. And this rot hole seems to end right here. So I think we're good. And if you look at what I took off it, which is this chunk right here, see how it had that big hole in the end? And then you can see these two spikes sticking up right here. Well, then I wanded it, and I picked up some metal targets right here too, the crosshairs right there. And then I measured it out and looked at the rot end, knowing there's a hole through that. And I said, well, it would just make more sense rather than trying to dig all that out, just to cut it off, which is what I did. So we're going to try to take this into a cant. Be careful how we do it, and we need 5 3x6's out of this. There's plenty of wood there to do it. It's really just going to matter how the good Lord smiles on us through this process, whether we're going to get it or not. I think in a perfect world, I probably would have put that flat spot up, but I don't really believe it makes a whole lot of difference, especially when you're milling black oak, locust, or cedar, because you never, it's like a box of chocolates, according to Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get. So, the second that you turn that up, you find out that, you turn that up and you cut it off and everything looks great. And then all of a sudden you find a raw spot somewhere else. So we're just going to cut it the way it is, the way it ended up on the mill. It's overall, it's a fairly clean log. There's always going to be dirt and sand and stuff, especially depending if they're near the beach or something like that down in these furrows. But overall, it doesn't look very dirty. I'm going to get a tape measure on my hip, and we're going to go to town, and we're going to see what we can do to this thing. These are always a joy to try to hold on to. But I think what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get it into a cant. That feels pretty solid. Get it into a cant and then assess how we're going to saw it out. I am running Wood-Mizer Silvertip Turbo 7 on the sawmill today. So the only thing that we are testing is the roller guide setup on a fairly big black locust log. This Turbo 7 was sharpened by me in that sharpening video. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch the face sharpening video that I did not long ago about sharpening the stellite bands. I freshened up this one, did not set it, and we're going to see how it does. So let me get a tape measure. I'll just steal one off the mill on my hip here, and we will get to sawing here. I think it's just going to be flat side, turn it, flat side, turn it, flat side, turn it, then figure out what we have to do. I think that's how this is going to go. So first cut, I probably don't even need a tape measure. We'll get the mill fired up, get some water running, and we'll go to town. And when Josko Katapovich shows up, we will pause you guys so I can deal with Josko. It's actually, as weird as it sounds, pretty much good right where it is. I'm just going to take it to 14 right there. See where 14 is going to fall on here. Well, that's pretty deep in the log. How's it look down here? Huh. It's not that bad. It's about right here. I'm not sure I want to go that low. I'm going to come up a little bit. 15. That doesn't clean up the end. But let's try it right there. Let's see what happens. Oh, got my bungee cord on the back side of the mill, keeping it from blowing down the track while I was loading the log. Wow, that's a lot of tension. And I should have stuck with 14 probably. I'm going to take another pass off the top here. My scraper out. There are some ants in this log. Great. They're coming out all over here. So I think what we'll do is we're going to drop down 5/4. This isn't a very good piece. I'm going to drop down 1 inch and take another one off. Or I could just flip it over just like this. Nah, it's still too thin on the top. We're going to have to take it off anyway. So yeah, it's really an either or. I think we'll drop down 1 inch and take one more off. Get ourselves some flower box material. All right, we'll get this chunk off and we'll see what it looks like. There are an awful lot of ants running around. There's definitely a big void in the log there on the top. Hopefully it doesn't carry all the way through. You can see the sawdust and stuff coming up. Hopefully it's just a fissure. This right through here. A fissure and not a void in the wood. We'll kind of scrape the wood off here. We'll see what we're looking at. I think it's going to be a fairly nice looking log. Get my blower out of the way here. So this is going to be a little bit hit or miss on this log. I'll show you what it looks like, what it cut like. It's cutting really good. Give you a look at the wood. It's a pretty log. It'd be a nice slab log. Whether it's going to be any good for 3x6's, I'm not sure yet, but I'll give you a look at the finish as we get down further. I can't see with my sunglasses through the viewfinder, so a little bit of punkiness right here, but not too bad. It would work fine for bunks. I'll give you a look in close at the finish if it focuses in on my hand. It's cutting really smooth. You can see there's a little fissure there. There's some sort of weird fissure on the edge here. Hopefully that'll go away. Pretty grain through here. You know, this actually probably would be a good candidate for a slab log, except for Josco, except for down here. This just wouldn't work. So we are going to try to get our 3x6's out of this. I think the best candidate for where they're going to come out of is probably above one out of there, maybe two, and maybe four out of that side there, maybe close. At least one out of the bottom down there, maybe two. So it looks like we have room around it to plan to get the 3x6's. I could take a 3-inch slab off this right now and probably get a 3x6 out of it, or come down just a hair and do it. If I cut kind of just above that pith, and that's probably 4.5. If I took a if I took a cutoff, or just took maybe say a 4-inch slab out of that, or another slab off the top to try and get below those fissures, and then took a 3-inch slab out, I could probably get a 3x6 out of that just looking down it. Let's do some measurements. It's not a horrible idea, since this has been such a pain in the ass to do. Let's try to cover all our bases here. So if I'm getting out towards 12, so I got a 3x6 here with this fissure. This fissure doesn't seem to go much deeper. If I took another slab out of here, I would get to 12 wide. Then I could get 2, and I've got 4 inches to that rot spot. So let's see what we look like down here. And 12 foot, I got like 8 inches here. Yeah. You know, I actually think that's going to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1-inch board out of the top of this. Maybe even 5/4. I'm still going to have enough. Let's take a 5/4, and then we're going to drop down and take a 3. And then maybe we can edge that 3 off into 2 pieces. So let's take a 5/4. Let's see if this is going to work out. Actually, I think I'm only going to take 1 inch. Yeah, if I take 1 inch, it's going to screw me. And I'm just going to drop it down and take a 5/4. So that was at 14. That was at 13 7/8, right? Yeah. All right. So if I go down to 12 3/4, and we'll skim this off and we'll see what it leaves us. Where's that going to be on that right there? That looks good down here. I'm just going to take it right there. Right now I'm working hard to keep the band pressure even because I'm cutting with a 7-degree band and an 18 horsepower motor, and I'm making a pretty wide cut in Black Locust. It should be a 4-degree band for this cut. So I'm trying really hard to keep my band pressure even and keep the blade spinning, because I can push hard enough to stall it right now. Going through it pretty good. I just cut through something. Not sure what that was, but I cut through something right there. We're going to get this slab off, and then we're going to drop down 3 inches and take a 3-inch off. And hopefully, if I get this figured right, we're going to get 2 boards out of that. And it's looking pretty good right now. Let me back you guys up so you can see what I'm doing. So far, the band's still cutting really good. Felt like I cut through something right in here somewhere. We'll take a look and see what it looks like when we get this off. Made a funny noise, kind of like a nail strike, but if it was a nail strike, it was a pretty soft nail because it didn't do much. So really nice 1-inch slab here. Guys, see how beautiful this. Yeah, so I think we're cooking with gas right here. I'm going to show you this slab. If I put some water on it, it'll look beautiful, but you guys are going to pick up some noise from the mill because it's still running, but just give you a look at this slab. It's really pretty. So what I'm hoping is I get a sill plate from each side of this, and they're going to be 3 inches thick. Hopefully you can see how smooth it cut. Cut really nice and smooth and flat. Some beautiful cathedral grain through here. So a gorgeous log. Really nice black locust color. And let's go ahead and take a 3-inch out of it. Make sure that my stops are down enough, and we'll take a 3-inch out of it. And then we'll have to probably take that off with the, probably end up pausing you guys, and we'll take it off with the machine. Don't know if I'll be able to take a 3-inch off by myself. So I'm like 3 3/8, so it should clear this. I should have a 1/4 inch. I'm going to put a little more water to it on this pass. That cut was at 12 3/4. Yeah. So that cut was at 12 3/4. I'm going to turn my water up a hair. And we're going to drop down to 11, 10, 9, 8 3/4, 9 3/4 plus an 8. We'll double check that. Just make sure that's 3 inches thick. That's perfect. It's exactly 3. And then what we'll do is we'll edge the slab off. We got 12 here, right? Yeah, we got 12 here. No problem at the thinnest spot. We'll edge the slab off into 2 3x6's. Hopefully we'll get an extra one out of the whole thing. So make sure I get clear on my sides because I was running a little bit close. Let's just go ahead and cut it. Going kind of slow to keep from stalling the band. It'll be easy to do in this wood. This hardwood with 7 degrees, it's easy to stall the band. Trying to keep the band speed up. See my outflow on my sawdust. Make sure that's shooting out. It whittles down like it's just dribbling out and my band's stalling. So far, it's going through pretty well, to be honest with you. This is a big cut for these, a good test for these lower guys. A lot of tension and pressure going on here with this cut. I could push harder and just trying to keep the band speed up so it's not smooth. Right now it's just cutting beautiful right now. I mean, I can't say enough about it. I'm running into my log with my adjustable guide. One, two, three, 4. Shut it off. So we got ourselves a 3-inch thick slab. Don't exactly know where the best, oh yeah, cut nice and flat too. When I can move a 3-inch slab, it's easy. Cut really nice and smooth. I think I will just take it down here. This is, keep in mind, this is 3-inch Black Locust, guys. This is a heavy, heavy effing slab. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Like 12'6" long. We'll leave that down there. We'll cut it out after. So, I think what I'll do is pause you guys. Nice. The center wood's getting more solid the deeper I go. I think I may do this a little different than normal. Whether I try to take it all the way over, I might just take it all the way over. So I'm going to pause you guys and we'll get the log set up and I'll bring you back. All right, so we got a real interesting problem here. There's a fissure in the top of this log right here. I was thinking that my first cut was going to be at 8, but that fissure is not going to clean up at 8. It's almost a wasted cut. I think I'm just going to come down to 6 and then throw this thing on its side and see if I can get let's say I should be able to get like 4 out of it if I do that. And then if I get 2 out of this, then we accomplish our task. There is a little bit of mud in this side. I think if I come down to 6, it looks like I'm in the best spot. I think I'm just going to cut it off at 6, throw it on its side, and try to mill it out into 3-inch pieces. Even if there's a little wane, I think they'll still be fine for this particular application of just sill plates. So if I get 4 out of here and 2 out of here, then I'm good. I can definitely get 2 out of here. So even if I got 3 out of here, I'd still be good, even if they're not perfect, because they're just sill plates. So I'm going to try, I think, just to come down and take it across at 6, waste the top, because it's got so much going on that's no good. And then take it from there. I think that's what we're going to do. So we'll fire it up and take it off at 6. That's a really good chunk of wood. I'm just wondering if I can get something. I know I can't. I'm just going to cut it right there. Hopefully I can clear this branch right here. Yep. All right, so that should be good. Let's chunk off. Looks like a really nice piece of wood. I think you get no problem doing what we're trying to do here. So we're going to get this thing spun up on its side. Get it shut off. Get this thing spun up on its side. And we're going to take, just looking at the log, we're going to try to cut in right here. We're going to need it at, let's see, the 12 is 4 of them, so 12 and 3/8. We're going to cut in right there and then drop down on 3s. Cut 3x6's. If there's a little bit of wane, it's not going to be any problem on these at all. It won't be much. There's going to be one little piece of wane right here, a teeny little piece. One maybe little piece of wane right here on one board. If we get 4 of them, then we should be 1 board heavy. Hopefully he'll take all 6. Actually, I'll ask him to take all 6 instead of 5. Now we got to square it up, so get these up just a little bit. So that's at 8, so we're still okay there because this cut's going to be somewhere around 12. All right, now we'll square it up, clamp it down, and we will start cutting up around the top somewhere. And it looks like the log's pretty symmetrical, that this little inclusion is about the same spot on both sides. He's already texted me once today asking me if his order was done. You know, the one that was, no big deal. Okay. So what we're going to do, without dropping this thing on our head, is check our square. Okay, perfectly square right there. Get ourselves dogged in. Not that these have to be perfectly square. We're only talking about the edges. Yeah, it's perfectly square right now. We get some of it cut. And then maybe flip it over. So my goal is to get to this one spot right here, which is up at, it's like almost 15.5 here. If it's the same down here, I'm good. It looks like it's a little higher down here. I'm looking to get to like right here. So it's like 16.5 down here. I don't think that's going to cause a problem. There's too much fissure and shit in this. So I'll probably just cut it at that 15.5, and that's going to get me plenty for my 12-inch, 12 3/8. That's actually going to work out perfect. So I'm going to cut it at 15.5, take the top off it, and then flip it over and mill it out. Yeah, it looks all right. Let's go right there. All right, a little more firewood here. And we'll flip it over. We'll flatten the other side, and mill it out. Looking good so far. Looks like we accomplished our goal. I think even this is probably going to be like our worst piece, and it looks okay for a sill plate. This away so we don't get stuck on them. So our goal at this point is to get to 12 3/8 on scale. We don't have a scale for 3 inches, so we'll have to do it. We'll have to do some mathematics as we go down. But we want to get down to 12 3/8, which is 4 3-inch cuts. But it only ends up being 3 interior cuts. So with 3 interior cuts, we have to take off 3/8. That's why it's 12 3/8. Anytime that you have a specific amount of boards, let's say you're going to make 5 boards at 1 inch, you've got 1 less cut. So 4 cuts, you have to add 4/8 or 1/2 inch to that to know what size you need to get to. So we're looking to get to 12 3/8, which is awesome here. It actually gives us borderline something on the top. I'm not sure down there. And as long as my stops and my clamps are below 3, we're good to mill the whole thing out right here. We do want to start as high as we possibly can. There is going to be a little bit of weight on this side on some of these boards, so I want to minimize that. Our best ones are in the middle here, or in the, there's 2 of them down here that are going to be pretty much wane free. So we're going to see what 12 3/8 looks like. So this is going to be our drop dead point. Just looking at it, I'm going to cut it right there. There's nothing above it. It cleans up pretty nice. So our next drop is going to be on 9 1/4. Our next cut's at 9 1/4. That's going to give us a 3-inch thick board. That's 12 3/8 minus 3 minus an 8. Check that, make sure I'm right. It should be 6 inches wide. Yep, by 3 inches deep. Make sure I'm right. Yep, that's right. So the next cut's going to be at 6 and an 8. So we can actually make that cut now, then we'll clean them off. Down to 6 and an 8, make that cut. Should almost have a little whiteboard over here to write on. I could have done all the arithmetic and written all the cuts down really quick in this kind of thing. Then the bottom ones are basically going to be cut in half. There's like no tension in the rod, which is nice. These boards haven't moved anything at all. Nope. And I just say that, and there goes tension. At least the boat up. Okay. Get these 2 off. go. Get these two off here. And like I said, we should end up with one extra here. Which will be good because you never know what's going to happen to them. Sometimes they're going to crack. Sometimes they're going to do something crazy. So this one's bowed up, but that's good because it'll settle. I'd actually put it cambered up in the middle, structural camber up in the middle. Let it push the middle down. I know you can't see me. I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. Sorry. Show you what I got going on. So we got those two 6x3s there. Two more on the mill. Basically, just got to cut that one in half. Stay right here. Then we get the other one up there. We'll edge it and cut it in half. And we'll be good to go. So this one should just be coming to, that was at 6 1/8. Should be coming down to 3 and cutting it right in half. So it's 3 inches off the bunks. The 6 1/8 leaves an eighth of an inch on top for the kerf. So I get a 3 and a 3. And one of the other good parts of this is that these are 12'6", so there is a little bit on the ends that they can nip off. And also, these are going on stone and not ground. So they're not technically ground contact, even though these would be perfectly fine for that. They're going to be on stone. These are some, come over the other side. Monster 3x6's. This one on the bottom is really technically the worst one. Still perfect for what we're doing. Whoa. Let's take this one all the way over. Yeah, these will be great. Then we'll get this one up there and then throw that one up and edge it off. One thing that I am finding out is that I am going to have to, I've been selling Black Locust for $3 a board foot. Eventually, probably after this order, I am going to have to adjust that. It's just too rare a commodity, especially in sizes like this, to sell that cheap. That one's got a little bow in it. So we got those 4. This one's got a little bow in it. That one's bowed the other way, so you can actually see the gap. There's nothing we can do about that, though. So this other one here, we're going to throw up. I will put you guys on pause while I get it up on the mill. We'll flip it up on edge, and we'll edge that one off into 2 more, and we'll get 6 of them. We're at 44 minutes. Looks like a 1-hour job. So I'm going to pause you guys, and we'll get that up on the mill, and we'll get it cut. All right, so we get it up there. We're going to take this top cut at 16 inches. I could bring that edge up just a little bit. Where's 16 going to be? It's going to be there. Yeah, I'm going to bring that end up. I'm going to pause you guys. It's got to come up. Let's just go to the pith. Somewhere around 11 and a half. You can't really see it on this one. So that was, I need this. This is 16 there. So let's say it's 17 to here. I'm going to bring it up 2 inches. That's just going to help me center up that end a little better. So I'm going to pause you guys because I got to square it, and I'll bring you back. All right, so I got it up 2 inches. We're going to try and take the top cut at 18. See if that cleans it up, and then we'll flip it over and see where the cracks fall. Maybe we'll take a 6-inch off it right now. We'll see how it holds up. All right. Yeah, let's see what we got to the crack here. Nice, 6 inches exactly. This should work perfect. It's just, I don't know if you guys can see that crack right there, but with 6 inches to it. Actually, with 7 over here, 6 3/4 right there. So that's going to be good. I think I'm going to drop down and take 6 off it right now before I flip it, because I want to work on the good side. And then I'll shave. Then I'll measure and see if I can shave a piece off to get that pith out of it. So let's take 6 inches off it right now. That was at 18, so we have to go to 12, 11, and 7/8. How did this happen? Well, I'm not clear. I can't go. Shit. Okay, 18, right? You should be able to drop 6 clear. 19, 18. Yeah. Why is that over too much? I think my stop down here moved over. Let me see if I can get it. I think this stops this way too far. I need to get this over to like 3.5. I don't know why that is. See if I can get it moved without knocking it off the block. Oh yeah, it's not tight. That sucks. Damn it. I think we'll just flip it over right now. And I'll move it after I flip it. Kind of stinks. I still got to move it over. You have to get your stops over this way. Over this way so that you clear that angle. Oh, Jesus. And I think, if I remember right, it's like 3.5 from here. Just go 3.5 and I'll reset it. I can't. So then, because these are all bent, you measure off this. All right, so it's basically 7 inches. You measure off the track, make sure they're all 7 inches over. This one's going to go over. Come on. Right there. That way you get full depth on that angle on the thing. This one's almost there. It's only 1/4 inch off. Okay. All right, so we should be able to flip this thing up now. So I want to adjust these down to something below 6. So let's just go to 4. Let's put these at 4. So I know I'm not going below 6. Okay. Now let's see if I'm man enough to stand this thing up. Always leaving that PV right under my feet. Yeah, sure they're underneath. Hey, Brian Shellswell, no, they're not underneath. Sure they're underneath. No, they're not. Yeah, they are. No, they're not. Yeah, they are. All right, good. So what our goal is to clean up the top something over 12 1/8 so I can cut the pith out of it. This will actually end up being 2 cuts. So be 3 cuts. As high as I can get and clean up, which right now is 13 there. That's like 15. That's like 15. So actually, maybe I could score at 14. All right, I'm going to make this cut at 14. Then drop 6 and take a 6 off. Then drop to 6 inches and cut it off because of the crack. And that should cut the crack out. So we're going to go down to 14. go to 14 1/8 and make the math simple. That worked out great. It cut all the bad stuff off. And now we'll drop to 8. No, 6 inches. Yeah, 8. 8 and then 6. And then we'll go back and come down to 6. Cut it off and we'll go again. Time! All right, so we got his 4 planks here. So we got on the 6 planks, we got 3 right there. You see some weighing on the top of that one down there from where there was a fissure in the log. Still should be okay. Like I said, these are all cut 8 inches too long. And then we got that one and this one sitting on edge right here. We cut the crack out of the middle of it. You can see it in that one down there. And I think we're good on this order. I'm going to call them up, tell them that they're all ready. See if he wants to come by and get them. And I'm still waiting on Josco to come by and look at the other stuff. But I think that is almost going to call it a day for me here. I've got to do a ship pile of cleanup, and I've got to split some, do a ship pile of cleanup and split some firewood. So I think that's going to call it a day for me here. I'm not sure yet. So get these stacked up here, call him up, and let him know that they're all ready to go. Appreciate the watch. So far, I am going to do a video, and I might let the phone charge up a little bit and do a little bit, do it in a few minutes. But I'm going to do a video on what I think about those roller guides. How I feel that the system is, pros, good, bad, and the ugly, pros, cons, and what I think about them so far. I'll do that in a separate video. So for now, it's Pirate Solutions out.